Salve ragazzi, io sono Fablinker e oggi siamo qua su The Raven Remastered per andare avanti e per scoprire nuove cose. Innanzitutto andiamo avanti perché con lui già ci avevamo parlato, quindi di parlarci
The
ancora,
little
ancora
label
no.
on the door reads Baroness von
Ehm,
Trebitz. Blue blood on the Orient Express.
Possiamo.
Yes, what is it?
Whoever that is, James, ask them whether they found my purse and then closed the door. The noise on this train
Quale
is driving me
borsetta?
crazy.
Borsetta smarrita.
You're missing a purse. Was it stolen?
At the very least, I cannot find it, sir.
It was stolen.
When was the last time the Baroness saw her purse?
What?
In Zurich, on the platform, sir.
I just asked where you last saw your purse.
In Zurich on the platform. James, tell him that I still had it when I got out to stretch my legs.
The Baroness says...
Maybe you lost it there.
What?
The Baroness never loses anything, sir.
I never lose anything.
Beh,
Very well then. I shall be on the lookout for your purse.
sicuramente l'ha persa, sicuramente.
If I might ask you a few questions about your fellow passengers.
I thought he was looking for my purse. James, tell him to look for my purse.
The Baroness wishes that you search for her purse.
Ma dai?
Couldn't we perhaps... All right. First,
Cioè,
the purse.
mi fa...
I will have a look around.
Mi dice le stesse cose che dice la baronessa, non è che sento, non è che sono sordo, vabbè. Comunque, a sto punto andiamo avanti. Andiamo a vedere dalle altre parti cosa si dice, cosa fanno. E niente.
I don't believe it. I never thought I'd ever meet you.
Pardon me, but we'd prefer...
It's all right, Miss Miller. I'd like to speak to the inspector.
Unfortunately, just a constable, Lady Westmacott. I'm reading The Vicarage in the Mirror right now, for the 5th time at least.
That's nice, Constable.
Zellner. Anton Jakob Zellner.
This is my companion, Miss Miller.
A pleasure.
Allora,
May I ask what you're doing here? Are you on holiday?
Holiday? Yes, so to speak. The first and last holiday of my life.
Madam?
I've been writing since I was a little girl. It became my job, and now I've stopped. So, this must be a holiday.
You quit writing? Impossible. I have all of your books. Your Detective Partout is my favorite character.
Then I have bad news for you. I killed the old wretch off years ago.
I don't understand.
I'd rather not discuss my work, Constable.
Oh, well, fine.
allora, qual è la sua
Are
destinazione?
you traveling to Istanbul, Lady Westmacott?
No, we are on our way to Venice. From there,
Vanno
we will
tutti a
take ship to
Venezia,
Cairo.
tutti a
As
Venezia.
you may know, I have a penchant for archaeology. I fund a few excavations in Egypt. I traveled to Egypt by ship as a young woman. And now I'm doing it again as an old woman.
I see.
Altri
As a
passeggeri.
writer, you must be very observant. Am I right? I mean, you have to study the behavior of people around you to create the characters in your novels, don't you?
I solved the mystery of human nature a long time ago, Mr. Zellner. Since then, most people just bore me.
Really? I had the impression you were eyeing me suspiciously as I came in.
What do you want to know, Constable?
Vabbè,
Did you
l'archeologo.
notice the man who just walked into the next carriage with a cup of tea?
I did. He seemed nervous. He was waiting at the bar for the steward, and since the steward never appeared, he elected to help himself. He took 2 biscuits.
He seems pretty young, but he's already a
Cioè,
professor at
addirittura
the
si
British
ricorda di
Museum.
2 biscotti.
Interesting.
2.
I'll have to talk
Cioè.
to him later. Just out of courtesy, of course.
Of course.
Il violinista.
Did you notice the blonde man with the violin case?
I certainly did. He introduced himself and tried to make a good impression. People like him are drawn to wealth and fame, like moths to a flame.
But his charms failed on you.
I know him by name. David Kreutzer. He was a drain on my friend's purse.
Do you think he has a money problem?
People like him always have a money problem. No matter how much you give them, they always spend twice as much and complain that they have far too little.
Un artista spendaccione.
Did you notice anyone else? What about the doctor or the baroness?
I notice that you've asked me about everyone, except for the inspector who went in the direction of the freight car a few minutes ago. Isn't that the Frenchman who made his name when he caught the Raven?
I wouldn't quite say caught.
Well, shot. Why
Sono
don't
due
you
cose un
ask
po'
me about him
diverse.
and my theory about what he's doing here?
I don't think we should discuss Inspector Legrand's investigation in public.
Legrand, right. That was his name. Will he save the day again? Or will you, Constable?
Borsetta
There's
smarrita.
something else. A passenger's purse has gone missing. I suppose you haven't seen it.
I'm sorry, Constable Zellner. As you know, I only deal with murder, not burglary.
Have you asked my boy yet? Maddie is good at finding things.
I'll go and do that now. As much as I'd like to keep talking, duty calls.
You were right.
Madam?
I did observe you as you came in. You seemed so eager.
It's been a long time since I've had a chance to prove myself, madam.
And this is it. Your chance.
I do hope so.
Then grab it. Even small people can make big changes, as my friend Ronald likes to say.
I shall do my best.
Ok. Però posso parlare con lei, no?
Mrs. Miller made a good impression. She wanted to protect Lady Westmacott from me, a pushy admirer. Very diligent. But she does seem a little nervous and tense. I imagine she has her work cut out for her with Matt. And a difficult boss, from what they say.
Ecco. Più che altro dovremmo parlare con Matt. Più che altro.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes?
The little boy, Matt, he's your son?
Oh,
Beh,
yes.
sì, ovvio.
Has he done something?
No.
Non sarà mai il suo
I've
ragazzo,
already met
credo.
him. Clever little fellow.
We always call him Professor because he's so precocious. If only someone could just drive the mischief out of him.
Nulla di
Did you
insolito?
notice anything unusual on the train?
Oh, I'm afraid not. I was totally focused on my work.
She's always got an awful lot to do, my Mary.
You have to tell me if that's not all right with you.
Good Lord, child. Knit as much as you want.
So, nothing out of the ordinary.
No, Constable.
Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
Va bene.
An extraordinary woman. Talented, intellectual, extremely rich, and the most successful writer of all time. Yet, they say she can be difficult on occasion, and that she's rather unhappy. There are thousands of things I would like to ask her, but nothing would justify neglecting my duties here on the train.
Allora, stuzzicadenti.
The steward must have forgotten the toothpicks. Normally he would offer them discreetly after dinner.
Prendiamoli tanto, potrebbero servire. Ok, bene. E qui direi che siamo a posto a sto punto, non c'è nient'altro, se non vado errato. Se non andare avanti. Allora,
Butterscotch. I've loved them since I was a child. Their only drawback, they don't play nice with false teeth.
in effetti essendo dure.
Maybe if I just suck it.
Ok. Poi. Possiamo andare anche dietro al
I
bancone
suppose the steward won't object to me having a look around in his absence.
e guardare un po' cosa c'è in
Who
giro.
would have thought that one day Butterscotch would remind me of my age and of all the things I had to leave behind?
Questo non posso fare niente.
Pad on which the steward writes orders. Empty. Maybe he didn't use it because there's not much to do today.
Anche perché c'è poca
I
gente.
don't need the pad, but the pencil might come in handy.
Ok, prendiamo la matita. Le
The
forbici.
steward probably uses the scissors on hard to open packages. These days nearly everything is sealed up tight. A colleague recently told me about dried powdered soup in small bags. I couldn't believe it.
Però non posso prenderle. O sì?
I'll leave the scissors here. If I need
No,
them, I
non
know
posso
where to find
prenderle purtroppo. Va bene.
them.
Cassetto
Perhaps he keeps
immagino
the
che non si
compartment
apre.
keys in there.
Immagino, infatti.
Locked.
Sarà chiusa a chiave.
Where could he be?
Dobbiamo trovare l'assistente.
The drawer is locked. And the steward
Che non so dove sia andato a finire, ma dettagli.
Where is he?
Allora, radio.
Shortwave radio. It's amazing how small these things have become in the last 10 years.
Posso anche accenderla volendo, poi piccolo è grandissimo, però vabbè. Però spegniamo anche perché sinceramente anche no. E niente, torniamo indietro a questo punto, non c'è nient'altro. Poi Dottor
I read the acquaintance
Gebhardt.
of Dr. Gebhardt on the platform in Zurich.
Parliamoci. Vediamo che ci dice.
Ah, Mr.
Zellner.
Right. How can I help you?
Quante domande.
Tell me, did you notice anything suspicious here on the train or in Zurich?
You mean, except for the fact that my suitcase was stolen on the platform? No. Is there any reason to be concerned?
No, just routine.
Constable Zellner, please don't think I'm naive. I spotted the inspector from Interpol. Legarde is his name, if I recall correctly.
Legrand.
If you say so. At the train station in Zurich, he put a cash box into the safe, and then kept close watch as it was loaded onto the train. Don't tell me that a man at his pay grade routinely tramps across the Alps just to keep an eye on cash boxes.
A cash
In
box?
effetti.
Like the ones you'd find in safe deposit boxes?
Precisely. And I believe we both have a good idea just what's inside.
I do indeed have a theory, but what's yours?
A ruby was stolen in London. One of the legendary Eyes of the Sphinx. The second jewel, an emerald, is rumored to be in a Swiss bank vault, if I remember correctly. Both jewels were supposed to be exhibited together in Cairo for the first time in 50 years. It does make one wonder.
Indeed. Any news about the robbery in London?
Quite something, wasn't it? It must have been professionals. The way they disabled one of the best security systems in the world. Most impressive.
People were injured.
Well, one cannot execute a robbery of that scale without collateral damage. It seems like the Raven has finally found a worthy successor. We can look forward to new and spectacular coups.
I'm afraid I won't enjoy his exploits this time around if the new Raven is so reckless.
That's your prerogative.
Beh, simpatico comunque, dottore molto simpatico.
May I borrow your newspaper?
You can take the section with the article on the burglary. You're interested in that bit, aren't you?
You caught me out.
Here you go.
Dankeschön.
Proviamo a chiedere dell'assistente di
There's
bordo.
something else. Do you know where the conductor is?
I'd like to know that myself. I told him to search for my missing suitcase in Zurich. He hasn't got back to me yet.
Pure lui ha
He's
perso la
probably
valigia.
in cahoots with the thieves, and didn't bother getting back on the train. If we don't crack down on vermin like them, the rabble will...
Tutti
rule
perdono
the world
valigie,
one day.
bagagli, borsette.
At the moment, we still don't
casino.
know what really happened.
He is not here doing his job. That's bad enough.
I meant to ask, the Baroness is missing her purse.
A baroness? This train is really full of the creme de la creme. The queen of crime is over there, and now a baroness as well.
Have you seen the purse?
Unfortunately, no. Do you know Lady Westmacott? You were talking to her,
Well, I'm an admirer of her work.
like so many others. I once read in the newspaper that only Shakespeare and the Bible sell more
Pensa te,
copies than her crime
Madonna.
novels.
I read that too.
She must be filthy rich. As a doctor, I'd have to work 1,000 years to
Oh,
earn that kind of money.
bello.
Auf Wiedersehen, Dr. Gebhardt.
Goodbye, Constable.
Perché anche tu non fai lo scrittore a questo punto. Vabbè, niente. Con questo ci aveva già parlato. Non ci ha detto niente di che. E andiamo qua. Vediamo cosa ci aspetta. Siamo fuori. C'è una cassetta.
A box with a padlock. I suppose it
Però
contains clues for the train's crew. Maybe
non credo che riusciremo ad aprirla.
At any rate, it's positioned so that it's easier to reach from the ground than from up here.
Vabbè, proviamo,
Locked.
Bang! Bang! Don't move!
Matt, have you gone mad?
I'll shoot! Hey, my
Potevo
pistol!
cascare.
You'll get it back in Venice. I could have fallen under the wheels.
I thought you were a ghost.
Ghosts don't exist.
They do too. One just flew past the window.
Yes, sure. Now get moving.
Oh, man.
Ma perché non gli chiedi la borsetta intanto che sei lì? Vabbè.
The ladder leads up to the roof. It will be suicidal to climb up there while the train is at full speed. The wind, tunnels. No, I'll stay down here.
In effetti, in effetti.
I strongly suspect that the door is locked. No.
No,
So?
è aperta. Mi fa morire come lo dice. No, it's open.
Hello? Wow.
Don't move a muscle, you feathered fiend.
Ma cosa?
Put the gun down, Robert. If I may introduce Constable Robert Oliver from the Yard. This is the revered Constable Zellner of the Swiss police, who obviously couldn't control his curiosity.
Then I was right. You really do want to lure someone into a trap.
That's none of your business.
Perhaps that someone recently struck in London.
And how would I bait my trap then?
With an eye? An eye on its way from Zurich to Cairo.
Someone has done his homework. Well done, Constable.
I hope you'll acknowledge that I, as a Swiss policeman, can undertake investigations in my own country.
Are we still in Switzerland?
I could be your eyes on the train, as long as you're here in the freight car.
Oh, really?
There is a certain Professor Lucien on the train. He's an archaeologist from London.
And what's his story?
Well, it seems someone locked him out of his compartment.
Locked him out?
Well, yes. The door is locked and he's standing outside without a key.
Was it locked from inside?
It may have been. Do you think the locked door could be important?
Professor Lucien plays an important role in this story. Well then, Constable Zellner, be my eyes and ears on the train and see that Professor Lucien gets back into his compartment.
Va bene, ok.
Report back to me when you're through.
My pleasure, monsieur. And
Borsetta.
then there's the Baroness. She's missing her purse.
Baroness von Trebitz? Interesting.
Indeed, sir.
But it has nothing to do with our case.
So I shouldn't concern myself with the matter.
Why not? It's your job as a policeman. But don't expect me to be particularly interested in a lost
A me mi puzza questo qui, devo essere
What do you
sincero.
know of this Raven's heir?
He tried to blow me up.
Robert, we don't know who we're dealing with yet.
In any event, the new Raven is a more dangerous man than the old one.
How do you know it's a man? It could just as easily be a woman.
Or several men.
And anyway, how do you know that it's a new Raven?
Monsieur,
Never mind.
I go attend to the door now.
Good. And, Constable Zellner,
Yes?
don't bother us unless you have something new to report.
Of course. A thief might get anxious if there's too much activity in the freight car.
Exactement. Knock twice. Then we'll know that it's you.
Understood.
Vabbè, quindi questi si stanno nascondendo qua come trappola per il ladro, in poche
An
parole.
investigation on behalf of the Grand takes me one step closer. If I can convince him of my competence, I might even be able to see this case through to the end.
Ecco. Possiamo leggere le varie annotazioni. Violinista. Un sacco di cose in realtà. Allora, bisogna andare a chiedere a Matt della borsetta a questo punto. Direi di sì, a logica. Sempre se ci arrivo. Certo che il sistema di... No, non volevo andare lì. Dicevo, il sistema di controllo del personaggio è abbastanza indecente,
Oh, Constable?
Yes, ma'am.
My son didn't make any trouble for you, I hope.
Insomma,
It's just that he just walked past us, silent and
mi stava per ammazzare.
It's usually a
Però
sign
vabbè,
that
fa
someone's laid
niente.
down law.
I'm afraid so. He played a trick on me, a rather dangerous one. The lad left me no choice but to take away his wooden pistol as a punishment.
I understand. And thank you. Maddie is a very lively child. Sometimes he needs a strong fatherly hand.
Where is Matt's father, if I may ask?
He's gone.
Ah, I understand.
Could you, leave Maddie's pistol here, perhaps? So you don't have to bother with it?
Of course. I told him he wouldn't get it back until Venice.
Very well. Thank you again, Constable.
Ok. Altra cosa fatta. E... ci manca solamente parlare con Matt e capire se lui sa qualcosa oppure no. Questa è la grande domanda. Allora, sì, ma vai avanti. Mamma mia, oh. È strabaggato.
Should I ask for an autograph? That will be quite unprofessional. But on the other hand...
Io lo farei, sinceramente, Parliamo con Matt. Intanto.
Hello, Matt. Oh, come on. Are you going to be angry with me for the rest of the trip?
Until I get my pistol back.
I gave it to your mother.
Oh man, couldn't you have just raked me over the coals?
Would you have learned anything from that?
I didn't learn anything from this either.
Ecco, bene. Non ci ha detto niente. È incavolato con noi. Oddio. Vabbè, ragazzi, io direi che per il momento può essere tutto. Può essere tutto, noi ci becchiamo invece al prossimo episodio. Ciao ragazzi.